On Britain's streets, a battle is raging.
Don't touch me, son.
Well, I already just did, didn't I?
What are you going to do about it?
Over 11 million of us rent.
I wouldn't put anybody in this situation.
Oh, seriously, they're not living in this, are they?
So why should I live like this?
But thousands fall victim to rogue landlords.
There's just water cascading through here.
This is a dirt trap.
On the other side, there are 2 million private landlords and counting.
I want my house back. I don't give a toss.
I wanted to drag her out of the flat. This is mine.
I'll never rent again. Too much hassle.
But many face financial ruin at the hands of tenants from hell.
He hasn't had his rent for ages. He's owed
So
20...
what? When are you going to pay me the money?
There's a scam going on here, Donny.
I know.
In this series,
Go, come on, let's go.
we follow the heroes who take slum landlords down.
Paying rent to live in a decent property.
There's so many things wrong, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, somebody touches that, they get electrocuted.
Not acceptable.
And the experts whose job it is to evict nightmare tenants.
Do not push me. Do not push me.
In the UK, over 20,000 properties are overrun by squatters every year. Occupying someone's home without permission is a criminal act. But that's not the case for commercial buildings, making it tough for landlords to keep them out. And once squatters move in, getting rid of them can prove an expensive headache. Eviction lawyer Chris Sharp has a tough job on his hands.
I hope it'll go smoothly. It's really important that this gets resolved.
His client, Alex Marland, bought a derelict pub 2 years ago, hoping to redevelop the site into 13 houses.
Unfortunately for Alex, the planning permission didn't come through as quick as he thought it would do, and therefore the property was left vacant for longer.
The result? Squatters moved in.
He went round to see them, told them that they shouldn't be there and they should leave immediately, and in no uncertain terms they told him they weren't going anywhere, and one of them had the audacity to say he had two choices. One, go to court, or two, bung them some money and they might leave.
Incredibly, this isn't the first time. Chris evicted squatters from the same property a year and a half ago.
At the moment it feels a little bit like deja vu. The squatter network being what it is, they will have all have known that this property was still empty. And to them, it's like fair game. And they've taken the chance and they've managed to get back in.
With planning permission now in place, Alex desperately needs his property empty so he can redevelop the site. A hearing has been set for next week to get the squatters thrown out. By law, Chris has to notify them of the date.
I'm hoping there'll be no trouble. We're coming up to the property now like the return of a bad smell. You know, they're still there. There's a big old van parked up outside.
He puts up notices in plain sight so the squatters can't claim they weren't aware of the hearing.
I've taken a photograph just to show then to the court that we've done our job.
He's also keen to deliver the notice in person.
Usually get a head out the window first.
Chris spots someone on the roof.
Excuse me, mate. Do you want to come to the door? Excuse me. I think he's just got a bout of shyness. Someone just came to the window then and quickly dived back in. Hi, mate. Do you want to come to the door? Huh? Do you want to come to the door a minute?
What, who are you?
Just going to give you some papers, that's all.
As Chris tries to get the squatters' attention, a friend of theirs arrives.
What's happening?
Just doing our job, mate.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just doing a job.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Are you living here?
My friends live here.
OK, fair enough then.
Finally, one of the squatters appears.
I'm able to find out what the commotion is.
OK, pal.
I didn't want to open the door.
Are you all right there? You be careful. There you go. We'll have a quick chat.
But you've invaded our privacy. And also, if I was a native Indian...
Who's got in here without permission? Who's invaded whose privacy?
Where are you?
There you go.
That's fine, that's all we need
You don't
to
want
know,
it?
buddy.
No, mate.
OK, fine.
Come on,
leave it outside.
everyone has to
Look,
get
guys,
on
you know
in
the
this
score.
world.
We're doing a job and then we're moving on, OK?
Who's this and what are they for?
Despite their hostility, the squatters are keen to reassure Chris they're looking after the place.
We actually secured the place and made it and tidied it up. This was abandoned. Anyone, like any kids, anyone could get in here. Right, it was dangerous. The floors are all broken.
We're not the bad people, we're good people. And we leave places better than we've moved into them.
All my client wants is his property back so he can move on.
Yeah, no,
it's
that's
his,
totally fine.
it's his property.
But
You've
as
had no
you're
permission to
doing-
be there.
I haven't Okay, I'm sorry, mate.
Apologies are not what my client needs. He just wants his property back. OK, thank you. Went smoothly?
Just as Chris is about to leave, some of the squatters' associates arrive and they're not happy at the threat of eviction.
Go in your car and go away. You've got no right to do this.
This is out of order, mate.
All right?
Just go, man.
Go.
My client simply wants his property back. It's his, and these people have no permission to be there. They forget that there's another individual here who's suffering, and that's the owner, who didn't give them permission to use it.
Satisfied that the papers have been served, Chris now has 6 days until he sees the squatters in court. He's hoping to win a possession order, but knows the squatters are unlikely to leave without a fight. Some of Britain's 2 million landlords fall into the rental game by accident, through divorce, unemployment or death, which means getting the wrong tenants can turn an already difficult situation into a living nightmare. Fifty-nine-year-old widow Jill Mercer is on her way to check up on her bungalow. Just over 2 years ago, she let it out to tenants Mark and Kim and their 5 children. It's a decision she's lived to regret.
Basically, they now owe me over £4,000, which is quite a bit of money nowadays.
Jill served an eviction notice nearly 2 months ago, giving the tenants warning to pay up or leave. She's about to find out if it's worked.
It looks like a junk site.
It looks like her tenants have ignored the order, but Jill wants to make one last effort to convince them to leave. Her tenant, Mark, spots her.
Just come see what state it's in. Sorry? Obviously, he has no intention of leaving, does he?
Landlord Jill Mercer is checking up on her nightmare tenants who are refusing to pay and won't leave. She bought the property 13 years ago and lived there with her late husband and teenage son for 4 years. Struggling for cash, Jill is in danger of falling behind with the mortgage.
Getting them out is essential to me not losing my property, which I've worked with my partner for years to put together.
Most of the rent used to be covered by housing benefit, with the tenants making up the rest. Jill even agreed a reduced rate in exchange for work on the house. But when their circumstances changed, the benefits were reduced. Jill hasn't received a penny in 4 months.
Though they were over £1,000 in arrears, they went on a Spanish holiday, all 7 of them. Thought, well, you know, it might be their only family holiday, I won't say anything. Then after finding them a job in Ireland, and then be told, no, I'm not paying you the rent. Council can pay it. That was like waving a red rag to me. It really was.
What makes the situation so difficult is Jill has grown fond of the family. Evicting them is a last resort.
I do feel sorry for him. I know he's very much a family man. It is sad. I do feel guilty because I've got 5 children, but I can't afford to do it. With no rent coming in, there's no mortgage being paid.
The tenant comes out to confront her, followed by his friend.
Don't think it's got anything to do with you, has it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why? Do you live here? No, so what's it got to do with you?
It's got nowhere after when you kick him out.
Look, I
Where's he
bent
going?
over backwards for Mark.
Metal work I've done to your friends as well. Unbelievable.
You get paid for it.
Unbelievable, Jill.
You get paid
towards
for
your
it.
rent. That's the funny thing about it all.
Yeah.
The work I do,
I said to
all
you,
goes to you.
When you
exactly.
come back,
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
you can pay this month's rent. You went, no, let
You
the
also said he could live here for 5 years,
Yeah, what's
and it's
happened
been
to
a year
that
and a half. So what's gone wrong there? Because you've got skint and you need to sell it.
Not paying rent.
Yeah, you're not
You've been paying. Oh, I've been paying you cash, Jill.
At the beginning,
Jill?
yeah, you were making it up, but not the full rent. You say
Jill,
what
I'll
you
see you
like,
at court, don't you? The 28th.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You drug yourself in it, not me. That's
Okay.
it. Ta-da.
Obviously, he has no intention of leaving, does he? You know, I'm upset. He knows what I've gone through.
Bye.
Bye.
With the tenants refusing to leave, Jill will see them in court in just over 2 weeks' time. She desperately needs her property back, but it's clear her tenants aren't going to give up easily. In Bristol, eviction lawyer Chris Sharp is heading to court. For a second time, squatters have moved into a derelict pub, and Chris is seeking an IPO, or interim possession order, a more expensive but faster process. If he wins, the squatters will have 24 hours to leave or face arrest.
If we succeed in getting the interim possession order, after 24 hours of service of that order on the squatters, they will be committing a criminal offence if they remain in occupation. Morning, Alex.
Morning.
Chris is meeting the pub's owner, Alex Marland, outside the court.
So, same rules apply. We've got to go in there, submit the arguments, convince the court to make us a possession order.
We've been through the process once already.
Yes.
The law seems to have come down on their side again, which is that we are the ones that are having to pay to get them out.
As Chris expected, the squatters and their associates have turned up and are set to make a defence. And they make their views known to Alex.
He didn't secure his property, first of all. It's been a drugs den and kids are going in there with drug users. How many kids are going to get hooked on drugs in his properties? How many lives are going to be destroyed? It's disgusting.
You're a predator.
You fucking little you always you're harassing people. You're harassing poor people.
You're scum.
After an hour and a half inside court, Chris and Alex finally emerge.
Yeah, we got the order, we got the IPO. It took a long time. The judge fully considered all the evidence and made the IPO.
The squatters claimed that Alex knew they'd been living there for at least 4 weeks, which would have meant the order couldn't be granted.
We're trying to make out that Alex, that he should have known long before now that they were there. Well, Alex had no idea they'd been there 28 days.
Well, almost been made to feel like the guilty party.
Yeah.
Which is quite extraordinary.
Alex, what I'll do now, I'll go up and now serve this. You've got
Okay.
things to do, so leave this to me. Alex, pleasure.
Thank you, Chris, again.
Chris is heading straight to the property to serve the order. It will give the squatters just 24 hours to get out, or risk being arrested.
They know what's going on today. They were there at the hearing, but this will leave it in no doubt. Hi, mate. How you doing? We've just got the order, the interim order for possession, OK? You're probably aware, yeah? So you do know now within 24 hours, if you're not gone, you will be committing a criminal offence, OK? Right. OK.
We're hoping to be out here within 24 hours, and we're going to leave it in a better state than it was moved into. There will be very little rubbish, and there won't be any paraphernalia of anything from the previous squats. And we're doing our best, and we're actually a nice crew, you know.
Despite the promises, there's no guarantee the squatters will keep their word. Alex is desperate to get the property empty so he can push forward with his plans, but he's far from home and dry. Many people believe that renting out a property is easy money. But when a tenant falls on hard times, a landlord can find themselves seriously out of pocket and in a legal battle to recover their home. "38-year-old Matt Dorrington is living a landlord's worst nightmare.
Well, I've had the property for over 5 years now. This tenant that's in there at the moment's been there 2 years. Been relatively quiet, haven't really heard much from him.
His tenant Michael Plain started falling behind with his rent a year after moving in. Matt, who works at a local military base, is now owed over $2,500 in unpaid rent.
I am worried. Obviously, I've got a mortgage to pay on the property, and without the rent coming in, I'm having to fund it myself.
With the tenancy agreement coming to an end, Matt's letting agent served a formal notice asking Michael to leave. But it didn't work.
I was hoping to get in there to refurbish it and get it set up for the next tenant. Unfortunately, not been able to do that.
Matt now has no option but to evict his tenant. Because the property is fully managed, they've never met.
It's the first time I've ever had to evict anyone. You know, I feel bad that I've got to evict someone, but if they're not making the payments or anything like that, what can you do? It's sad, really, but that's how it is.
Anxious to get his property back, he's called in Landlord Action's Paul Champlina to help him through the process.
We don't know what to expect, and we don't know, obviously, if the tenant's going to be there when we go and serve the notice.
Matt is meeting Paul at the property to serve a Section 8 notice.
Property is just here on the left.
This gives Michael 2 weeks to leave or pay off his rent arrears. If he does neither, he'll be taken to court.
Matthew,
hi, Paul.
How are you? Nice to meet you. I'm here today with the notice. Do we know if he's still working at all or not?
He was working when they referenced him, but we don't know if he's still working now or whether his circumstances have changed.
Okay. We'll go and serve this notice, get
okay.
step one going.
There we are.
Paul wants to serve the notice in person.
Is there a doorbell? Is there a doorbell here?
No doorbell.
See if he looks out the window from the telltale sign. Absolutely reeks. Have a smell. Smell in there. It's rancid, isn't it?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah. No, don't smell too good.
It smells horrible. I bet he's got pet. It smells like cats. I bet he's got cats.
Yeah, I think he's got 3 cats.
Right, he's not answering. I don't know if he's here. Served.
Paul's job is done for today, but he's not convinced the tenant, Michael, will be leaving anytime soon.
Realistically, 50–60% of the time they don't leave. The thing that I'm worried about you, yes, you're going to be owed rent arrears, but what state is that property going to be in?
Without actually physically going in there, you don't know.
You don't know. So let's hope you get your property back sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
but only time will tell if he leaves. All right?
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Matt's hoping his tenant will leave within 14 days. If not, he'll have to face a lengthy and costly court process.
It's a bit of a worry, it's a bit disheartening, but you know, it's just how it goes, isn't it, sometimes? So we'll see.
It's 2 months since landlord Jill Mercer served an eviction notice on her tenants. Owed over $4,000 in rent, today she's on her way to court to try and gain a possession order. But a letter from the tenant's solicitor reveals some worrying news.
They want to put up a defence of some sort. I'm putting a counterclaim. I'd love to know what the counterclaim is. I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I was cross, angry, sick.
If the judge thinks the tenants have a case, it could be adjourned or, worse still, thrown out. With Jill struggling to keep up with the mortgage payments on the property, it's a huge worry.
Try and get on with my life. Can't afford to spend any money. It's cost me thousands and thousands. And of course, next month, it'll be another 600 on top of that.
An hour and a half later, the tenants leave the court. And for Jill, it's not good news.
Well, basically, we have to go through it all again. The judge didn't dispute the fact that there was rent arrears. It's the fact that it wasn't in both names. The Section 8 was only issued to Mark Loveday. It is basically null and void and have to go through the whole process again with her name on.
Due to an error on the paperwork, the tenants, Mark and his wife, have bought themselves more time. Worse still, Jill could be liable for their court costs.
As they left the door, hearing that I would have to pay court expenses, they laughed and walked out. So basically, they've gone away laughing. Still got to pay the mortgage, and they're still living there for nothing. So I'm fuming. But I just feel, what is the justice? You know, what is the justice? I don't know. Give up. Well, I don't give up, but I do. I'll end up having to give up.
Landlord Matt Dorrington needs his property back. He started eviction proceedings 4 months ago, hoping his tenant Michael would leave, but it hasn't worked.
Not heard anything from the tenant or anything like that.
Now owed over £5,000 in unpaid rent, Matt is heading to court.
Today's the day, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll get a good result.
Having not received a penny in 7 months, Matt is feeling the strain.
Financially, it has been a bit of a stress test for me, really. I think overall, it probably, with the fees and everything, and the maintenance that's going to be required to do the property up, could be looking around £10,000. So it has been a strain, yeah.
This morning, Matt is meeting advocate Raj Lal, who's representing him in court.
If the defendant turns up, we'll have a quick conference with him, find out what his issues are, and try and resolve those issues.
Yep.
He's filed no evidence, he's filed no defence as yet, so hopefully it's going to be a straightforward case of going in and coming out with some type of decent order for you.
OK, Matt, I think it's time we go in.
OK, great.
And see what happens.
All right.
But with minutes to spare, the tenant Michael makes an appearance. An hour and a half later, the hearing is over.
The defendant offered no defence, therefore it was uncontested. A possession order has been granted by the courts. The judge was satisfied with our evidence.
Cheers, Raj. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Yeah, cheers.
All right.
The court has ordered Michael to leave the property.
I wasn't expecting him to turn up today, but I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with the result. He's got 14 days to leave the property. It's been quite a stressful time. It's been quite down days, but now it's a positive result from the courts and everything. Very much looking forward to getting the property back and starting work. So today's a really good day for me.
If Michael doesn't leave within the 2 weeks, Matt is within his rights to call in the bailiffs to evict him. But that means yet more unpaid rent and a hefty bailiff bill. Today, Alex Marland is on his way to his derelict pub that's been overrun by squatters.
It's the second time now that we've had to evict, and it's cost us quite a lot of money to get the court order.
4 days ago, he was granted an interim possession order, which means if the squatters are still there, he can call the police to arrest them.
They know they're committing a criminal offence if they are there, and so if they're not there, then it'd be helpful for everyone.
With planning permission finalised, Alex is desperately hoping his unwelcome visitors have left.
Yeah, the caravan's gone. That's how they got in. They've obviously taken the gate off the hinge to get in and out. I expect someone to jump out.
The early signs are good.
I'm pretty sure they've gone, which is good news, really. I mean, that is good. You know, I'm pleased about that.
But their promise to leave it clean and tidy is another matter.
This is kind of like, as you'd expect, really. It's absolutely filthy. You know, it's kind of milk cartons, food wrappers, stale milk in there, just stinks. Now we've got to clear all this lot up.
He may have the property back, but it's going to cost yet more money to clear up the mess.
It's now down to us to pay for it all to be put back together again. You know, and this is the second time we've had to do it now, which just doesn't quite seem right.
The big challenge for Alex is securing the building so that the squatters don't get in for a third time.
It's very, very difficult to secure it, and that's the problem. They can always get back in somehow. They'll find a way, and then they'll say it was open when they got here. The total cost we've actually put in to get the two groups of squatters is probably 10,000. By the time we secure all this again, at least 10,000.
This will be Alex's final battle with Bristol squatters. He's decided to put the pub up for auction and can now leave this stressful experience behind him. It's now 3 months since Jill Mercer's case was thrown out of court. Forced to start the eviction process from scratch and struggling to keep up with the mortgage, she's close to throwing in the towel.
I think I'm numb, to be honest. Just numb.
Today, she's heading back to court, hoping to finally regain possession of her property. But the tenants who owe her over £6,000 have put in a new defence, claiming the work they've done on the property should cancel out the arrears.
I couldn't believe it. I was shaking and just nearly went into a meltdown. I have really no idea, what to expect now. Really don't.
After her last experience in court, Jill's fearing the worst.
If this gets thrown out or whatever, where do I go from there? I really wouldn't know where to go, other than just saying, OK, have the bungalow, I'll stop paying the mortgage, end off, and the mortgage company will get you out. I feel like I'm walking towards a firing squad. I'm just hoping to God they don't adjourn it, because that just prolongs it even more.
Jill is meeting Saja Ahmed from Landlord Advice, who will be representing her.
Hi, Jill.
Hi.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Saj thinks the fact that the tenants have come up with a whole new counterclaim could backfire.
They had the opportunity last time to bring this up, and it wasn't brought up. There wasn't a defence. Second hearing, they bring this up. And the second thing is, there's nothing in writing, so it's a pretty flimsy excuse, belated excuse.
The only thing that was ever said was because they were a family of 5 kids, I said they could have it £200 below what rental value was, because I knew they were going to do work on it.
Yeah. The tenancy is clear what the tenancy says. Ultimately, if there's any dispute, then the contract is what stands up.
Even though Saj thinks the defence is spurious, it could still buy the tenants more time.
Sadly, the judges, I would say the hands are tied in some ways. If there is a defence, the judge has to deal with that defence. OK, all right, let's go.
Two hours later, the hearing is finished.
We'll see you again. That's all I can say to you, mate, yeah? See you in a bit, yeah?
Jill's worst fears have come true. For a second time, she's failed to win a possession order.
The reality is it's going to be at least, I would say, another 4 months before you get your property back, because you have to have the judgment. The tenant's then given 14 days, and then if the tenant still doesn't leave, you've got the bailiffs.
Yes.
So, 4 months at least. Right. Hello.
With no rent coming in and no sign of her tenants leaving, there's a real chance that Jill may be forced to give up on the property altogether. Four weeks later, there's a significant development.
I get a phone call from their solicitors asking me what I want from this to settle out of court. So I explained what I want from them, basically my property back.
Jill agrees that if the tenants move out by the end of next month, she'll write off the arrears so as to avoid another court case. She just needs the tenants' signatures.
If they sign it, my goodness. I would be ecstatic about that. Ecstatic. I think I'd be gobsmacked, actually.
Today, she's arranged to drop into their solicitor's office to finalise the deal. For Jill, this could be the end of a gruelling 6-month legal battle.
Oh, we're so excited now. 2 bits of paper, 2 signatures. Yes, fantastic. Overjoyed. That is the bit of paper I needed. That's all I needed.
The agreement means that the tenants must now leave the property in 30 days' time. It's been 9 months since landlord Matt Dorrington asked his troublesome tenant to leave. Despite gaining a possession order 6 weeks ago, his tenant Michael has refused to move. Today, bailiffs are set to evict him.
I'm not sure how he'll react today when we all turn up with the bailiff and the locksmith.
Matt is meeting eviction specialist Paul Champlina, who's been handling the case from the start.
We're finally here, the day you get your property
here.
back.
Yeah, looking forward to it now.
OK, so we've got the bailiffs coming soon.
The bailiffs aren't due to arrive for another hour, but Paul decides to check on the tenant.
Should we go and see if he's still there?
Yeah, OK.
And if he is still there, find out when he's going to move, basically. Right. OK, let's go. You can actually smell the cat smell from here. There's loads of cat stuff if you look through there. There's a cat in there, looking at me. He's clearly in there.
What a stench.
And ironically, I'm allergic to cats, so I'm going to have fun in there.
Yeah.
It's not a good sign. The property is still full of the tenants' belongings.
Hello? Hello there. You all right?
What are you here?
Yeah, we're here to do the eviction. Are you?
It's 11 o'clock, though.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. We're just making sure that you're going to be leaving the property.
I'm going, mate, yeah.
OK.
Just packing stuff away. So.
Oh, really? You haven't thought about leaving beforehand, then?
Yeah,
no?
Well, I had no money to hide out a van, you know.
Right, OK. What about the rent arrears that you owe?
Oh, I can't. What do you want me to do? I'm not in the What do you want? I ain't got no money, mate. I've got no money. I paid the guy. If I had money, I'd pay him, mate. Trust me.
Yeah.
Mate, if I had the money, I'd pay you now.
Yeah.
You can pay me what? I'd pay you the money.
No, well, listen, we know you've got financial hardship, and we understand that. We get that.
I owe the bank money. I owe council tax money. I owe money here and everywhere.
Yeah.
It just got out of control.
Yeah. I think the problem has been maybe the lack of communication.
Do you think we could have sorted it out sooner?
What do you want from me? I can't win, mate. I've been fucked over as well. You think he's been fucked? I'm not fucking...
I know, but listen...
I have my head, mate. You know what I mean? I could kill somebody. I'm ready to kill somebody. I am.
OK.
Kill somebody.
But that ain't going to get you anywhere, is it?
But I'm just, you know what I mean? My heart's going. I'm just
Okay.
don't need it. The amount of shit I've been through, mate.
Yeah.
I just can't stand it anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you want from me? Mate,
OK,
you know?
go on, you crack on.
Yeah.
You pack the rest of your stuff up. All right, mate? Go on, you crack on. All right, then, cheers. Bye.
Landlord Matt Dorrington is evicting his troublesome tenant, Michael. The bailiffs are due to arrive, but Michael is still inside the property.
Obviously, I don't want to upset him at this stage, so try and get him to leave in a sensible manner.
Most frustrating for Matt is that it had to get this far.
It's a shame Mr. Plain didn't communicate with me regards the payments and why he was struggling.
Yeah, the last thing they want to do is communicate with the landlord because they owe you money. They've got nowhere to go, they can't afford the rent, and they will wait until the last day, which is eviction.
It's 11 a.m. and the bailiff arrives.
Morning. The tenant's still in.
Right.
He's coming now.
Hello, mate. Okay, how you doing?
As they head inside, Matt's in for a shock.
God, it stinks in here.
Rustic smell.
How many cats you got?
So I've got 7.
I mean, look at the carpet, it's horrendous here. It's absolutely grim. Are you going to pick these sofas up or not? Are you going to tip them or whatever?
Yeah, I'm going to tip them, but I can't do it to you.
I know. I mean, to be fair, the kitchen and the bathroom are actually not in that bad a condition because you haven't got a carpet and you haven't got sofas in it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to sign the warrant?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Thank you for your help.
With the warrant signed, Matt has officially regained possession of his house. But many of Michael's belongings remain.
And the couches and stuff in the lounge, will you be taking those today?
Not today, I won't, because I can't move them on me, eh? You know, I can only do what I'm doing with best, you know what I mean?
It's a shame you ain't got no one to help him.
No, it is
Michael has moved most of his belongings into the garden, where he can collect them at a later date.
Listen, if you're going to rent again...
I'm not going to rent again, mate. There's no way I'm going for this again.
Right.
No chance, no.
I'm just
This
saying,
is once,
if you are,
twice to
communicate with your landlord, that's the key. There's a cat down there, by the way.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll come back.
All right, thank you. I'll leave that open.
As Michael sorts through his belongings, Matt and Paul head upstairs.
At least I've got the laminate flooring up here, so I can just get this cleaned without...
Yeah, this is... I mean, condition-wise, it's not too bad up here.
No, it's not, no.
Matt now faces an expensive refurb before he can rent the house out again.
The conclusion is that he spent more time and energy in his cats than he did with looking after himself and paying his bills.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of an afterthought that he owed you the money, really.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, I'm pleased you got your property back and you got your keys.
Lovely, thank you very
Well
much.
done.
That's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you
look, good luck with the future.
OK, Paul,
Take
thank
care,
you.
Matt. All the best.
Cheers, thank you
Bye,
very much for your
bye-bye.
help. Got the keys now, new set of keys, so I can get into the house. I feel really good.
He may have the keys, but Matt's not holding out much hope for the outstanding rent.
I don't think I'm going to see much of the money that he owes me, to be fair. Certainly not at the moment anyways, but we'll see in due course.
Keen to put this experience behind him, Matt decides to help the tenant move out the rest of his things.
I just wondered if you could perhaps just give me a hand in the lounge just to... Thank you. It's a bit strange trying to help out a tenant that's not paid me, but at the end of the day I'm just grateful to get it out of my way really, so get the house back and move on.
I'm sorry it's happened, I am. Never wanted to leave here. I thought I'd be here for a long time, I really did. It hasn't worked out. I'm well pissed off.
I don't particularly feel too great myself, but...
No, I appreciate it. I'll be pissed off if I was you. You know what I mean? I swear to God.
Well, let's get this fridge out then and...
Luckily, Michael has managed to find a flat with a local housing association, so he won't be out on the streets.
Just double check, no cats in here either.
No.
OK, yep, I'll leave you to it.
Yeah.
That is Mr. Plain gone. Thank buggery.
Despite the state of the property and over £5,000 in missing rent, Matt is relieved his ordeal is finally over.
Nightmare over and looking forward now to getting it relet. Hopefully we'll get some people in here that are going to appreciate it a bit better. Move on now and get on with things.
Landlord Jill Mercer has been trying to evict her nightmare tenants for 7 months. In a surprising twist, the tenants agreed to surrender the property in exchange for writing off the arrears. Today's the day she's due to get her property back.
I really have no idea what to expect.
Despite the agreement, Jill is worried that they may not stick to their word.
It's almost like apprehension going up there now. They've caused so much aggro, I feel they've got some little twist at the end of it.
It's Jill's first visit to the property in 5 months.
Oh, there we go.
It looks like the family have finally left, but it's not just the tenants that have disappeared.
The conservatory is missing. Well, there goes the fencing. They've cut a fence in there. And 2 lots of kennels and dog runs gone. And dog kennels are worth what? If you try to buy them, they're probably about £2,000 or £3,000 each. Oh, God. Conservatory.
The tenant Mark built the conservatory himself after moving in. He obviously wasn't prepared to leave it for Jill.
He's just pulled the conservatory down and smashed it to pieces. To me, that's a statement. That's a statement saying, up yours. You know.
With the outside a mess, Jill fears the worst as she heads inside.
Look, it's filthy.
But she's pleasantly surprised.
Not as bad as I thought it could have been. Windows are all intact, doors are basically intact, broken lock, no loose heat. I'm feeling quite relieved that it's not absolutely destroyed.
With the property finally back in her hands, Jill can reflect on a traumatic experience.
If this had gone much longer, I would have lost everything, including my mind, I think. It just seems such a shame. You know, why?
Close to losing the home she and her late husband had worked so hard to buy, Jill is desperate to never go through this again.
I will never rent this again. It'll be sold. Close this chapter and hope I don't have any more dramas.
What does she think she's doing now?
Next time,
Please.
a landlady's frustration reaches boiling point.
This is my house. Get out.
Good luck. Bloody hell. I'm gonna smack her. Oh, hello. That is so dodgy.
A man is found living inside a plywood shed.
Not safe.
Please, please. I'm inside and they're knocking on the door. This is where the shit starts, really.
And a landlord is kept prisoner in his own house.
This is freaking edgy now, you know what I mean? He's come over the fucking fence. Fucking hell.